Have you ever found yourself lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering why falling asleep seems so much harder than it used to be? Maybe you remember a time when you could drift off within minutes, and now you toss and turn, checking the clock over and over, thinking, why can't I just fall asleep like before? If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. So many people over 60 tell me the same thing. I'm tired, my eyes feel heavy, but the moment I get into bed, my mind wakes up. And it can feel frustrating, can't it? Almost like your own body is fighting against you. That's why today, I want to talk to you about something that affects far more older adults than most people realize, the real reason sleep becomes such a challenge with age. Not the excuses people often mention, like, oh, it's just old age, or that's just how it is when you get older. No. There are real reasons behind this change, and once you understand them, you can take back control over your nights and finally get the rest your body has been craving. You see, sleep isn't just about closing your eyes and hoping for the best. It's deeply connected to what you think, how you feel, and how your body functions throughout the day. And as we get older, those things start to shift in ways we don't always notice. That's why this video will walk you through the main reasons falling asleep becomes harder after 60 and what you can realistically do to fix it. Not complicated routines, not strange supplements, but simple changes that actually work. So let's start with something most people never talk about, even though it affects almost everyone at this stage of life. It's that quiet restlessness you feel in the evenings, when your body feels tired, but your mind won't stop replaying the day, or the week, or the past few years. That mental noise becomes even louder the moment you lay your head on the pillow. You might start thinking about your health, your kids, your finances, things you wish you'd done, things you hope you still can do. And suddenly your bed becomes the place where your mind wants to solve every problem in your life instead of resting. One of the biggest hidden reasons you can't fall asleep anymore is mental overstimulation in the evenings. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that when the world around you becomes quieter, your thoughts get louder. During the day, there are distractions, phone calls, chores, errands, conversations, noise from the TV or neighbors. But at night, there's finally silence. And your brain thinks, great. Now I can process everything I didn't have time for during the day. That internal chatter, especially when mixed with worry, keeps your mind alert even if your body is exhausted. When we were younger, we used to fall asleep before our thoughts caught up. But as we age, the filter that used to shield us from constant mental noise thins out a little. Suddenly, everything feels more vivid, memories, worries, emotions. And those things don't just stay quiet because we want to sleep. They demand attention. They demand energy. And they keep us from drifting off. Another major reason sleep becomes difficult is that your body's natural clock changes. You might notice that you feel sleepy earlier in the evening or that you wake up much earlier than you used to, even if you don't want to. This isn't just a random thing that happens with age, it's your internal clock shifting. Your hormones that regulate sleep, especially melatonin, start to decrease. That alone makes it harder for your body to settle into deep rest at night. Smaller changes during the day can throw off your rhythm completely. For example, taking longer naps in the afternoon, spending less time in natural sunlight, or even eating dinner too early or too late can confuse your body's sense of timing. These changes build up quietly, and before you know it, your sleep schedule feels completely upside down. You're tired during the day, but wired at night. You want to fall asleep, but your body doesn't know how to respond. And the harder you try, the more awake you become. Now, let's talk about something else that affects sleep far more than people realize: physical tension. Your muscles may feel stiff or achy, especially in your shoulders, neck, or lower back. And even though it's subtle, that physical discomfort sends tiny stress signals to your brain. Those signals make your mind more alert, which keeps sleep just out of reach. You might adjust your pillow 20 times or move your legs again and again, hoping to find a comfortable position. But every adjustment wakes your brain up just a little more. The truth is, your body and mind are working together more closely than ever before. If your mind is restless, your body stays awake. And if your body is tense, your mind stays alert. So when both happen at the same time, as they often do for older adults, it becomes incredibly difficult to fall asleep no matter how tired you are. But here's the good news. These patterns can be changed. Sleep isn't something you lose forever as you get older. You just need to understand what's stopping you so you can work with your body instead of fighting against it. And once you make even small shifts, your nights can feel calmer, your mind quieter, and your body more relaxed. Now that we've talked about how your thoughts, your internal clock, and your physical tension all play a role, let's move into the next big piece of the puzzle, something that often surprises people once they learn about it. And feel that these insights are meaningful. Please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. You know, the more I talk with people our age, the more I realize how many of us are dealing with the exact same frustrations at night. You lie down, you hope your mind will settle, and then suddenly it turns into a little engine that won't turn off. Memories you haven't thought about in years show up out of nowhere. Regrets you thought you'd already made peace with start whispering in your ear. Even small worries, like whether you remembered to turn off the kitchen light, suddenly feel enormous. And once that happens, the night slips right through your fingers. A lot of people think this is just something that happens as you get older, but that's not the whole story. Sure, our bodies change, but the real issue for so many people, especially after 60, is that we carry more emotional weight than we realize. And nighttime is the only time the world becomes quiet enough for those thoughts to crawl out. When you're younger, you stay busy. You go to work, you raise kids, you take care of problems all day long. But once life slows down, the mind has more room to wander. And if that space isn't filled with peace, it gets filled with worry. That's why one of the most powerful things you can do is gently guide your mind in a different direction before bed. It doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It simply means giving your brain something calmer to hold on to. Even something as small as thinking about 3 good things that happened during the day, no matter how small, can help shift your mind away from the negative. Maybe it was a nice phone call, a good cup of tea, a laugh over something silly, or even the way the breeze felt when you opened your window. Those little moments can soften the mind just enough to help you settle. And speaking of settling, there's another reason sleep slips away in the later years. Your body isn't getting the signals it used to get. When you were younger, you could fall asleep anywhere, on the couch, on the bus, even in a noisy room. But the older body becomes more sensitive. It needs clearer cues. It responds differently to light, to temperature, to sound. And when those cues aren't there, sleep becomes much harder. One of the biggest cues your body relies on is the rise and fall of light throughout the day. But think about your routine now. Are you spending most of your time indoors? Sitting in the same room? Maybe watching TV until late? Your brain depends on sunlight, real sunlight, not the light from a lamp, to reset your internal clock. Without that natural rhythm, your body gets confused about when it's supposed to be awake and when it's supposed to wind down. And if that rhythm gets even a little bit off, your sleep can feel impossible. That's why getting a bit of sunlight during the day, especially in the morning, helps more than most people realize. Even 10 minutes outside can signal your body, okay, this is daytime. Later, when it gets dark, the brain recognizes the shift and begins releasing natural chemicals that prepare you for sleep. You don't have to walk fast or do anything strenuous, just stepping outside, sitting on a balcony, or standing near a window with the sun hitting your face can make a difference. It sounds simple, but your body listens. At night, though, the opposite happens. Too much light confuses your brain into thinking it's still daytime. TVs, phone screens, tablets, each one tricks your brain into staying alert. You don't have to cut them out entirely, but lowering the brightness or turning the screen off at least 30 minutes before bed can help your brain switch modes. Some people even keep a small lamp with warm light instead of bright white lighting. That warm, softer glow mimics sunset and tells your brain it's time to slow down. Another thing that keeps many older adults awake is the shift in physical comfort. When you were younger, you could sleep on almost anything: a stiff mattress, a warm room, even a couch with cushions out of place. But now, tiny discomforts feel huge. Your back notices. Your shoulders notice. Your neck definitely notices. And the problem is, you can't relax deeply if your body feels even slightly uncomfortable. You might not need a brand new bed, but sometimes a small change, like adjusting your pillow height or adding a soft blanket, can help your body feel supported enough to let go. People over 60 often need a bit more cushioning because muscle and fat naturally thin with age. The body simply appreciates softness in ways it didn't before. A pillow under your knees can help if your back aches. A lightweight blanket can help if heavy ones make you restless. Your body isn't being difficult, it's asking for a little more care, because it's earned it. Then there's something else many people don't talk about, but it affects almost everyone: loneliness at night. Even if you live with family, even if you're surrounded by people during the day, nighttime can feel like a different world. The house gets quiet. Your thoughts echo. You may remember nights you used to spend with your spouse, with your kids, with loved ones who are no longer here. That emptiness can make falling asleep even harder, because the heart needs comfort just as much as the body does. One gentle way to soothe that feeling is to create a small nighttime ritual, something that feels familiar and emotionally warm. It could be making a cup of warm herbal tea, listening to soft music, writing down a few thoughts, or even talking to someone you trust before bed. These little rituals act like anchors. They give your mind a sense of safety and predictability, and that emotional softness helps you drift off more naturally. You're not trying to force sleep. You're simply creating the conditions where sleep feels invited again. And once sleep begins to feel like a friend instead of a struggle, your nights start changing. You stop dreading bedtime. You stop blaming yourself for being awake. You begin to understand that your body isn't broken, it's just asking for what it needs now, at this stage of life. And that's not a weakness. It's wisdom. Your body has carried you through so much. Of course it wants gentler routines. Of course it wants more peace. Accepting that is not giving up, it's growing into a new kind of strength. Now that we've talked about how the mind, environment, and emotions affect your sleep, it's time to explore the deeper reasons your body might be resisting rest without you even realizing it. You know, the more we talk about sleep, the more I realize how deeply connected it is to almost every part of our lives: our emotions, our habits, our thoughts, even the way we talk to ourselves as we lie there in the dark. And that's something many people don't realize. We often think the problem is our age, or our body, or some mysterious change that just happens when we get older. But so many times, the real reason we can't fall asleep anymore has everything to do with the weight we carry around inside, thoughts we replay, worries we hold onto, routines we don't even question. And once you start understanding that, things begin to shift in the most surprising ways. One thing I've seen happen again and again is this sense of feeling like the day never really ends. You might sit down at night, tell yourself you're going to relax, and yet your mind is still running. It's replaying conversations, thinking about people you miss, remembering things you should have done, worrying about things you can't control. And when that happens, your body doesn't get the signal that it's time to rest. It stays alert, on guard, almost like it's waiting for something to happen. And when your body is alert, your brain can't drift off, no matter how tired you feel. This is why creating a gentle, predictable ritual before bed is so powerful. Not something complicated, not strict rules or anything stressful, but a little moment that teaches your mind that it's safe to let go now. Maybe it's dimming the lights so your brain stops thinking it's still daytime. Maybe it's putting on soft, calming music. Maybe it's sitting for a few minutes with your eyes closed and just letting your shoulders drop. Even something as simple as washing your face with warm water can signal your brain that the day is winding down. These tiny habits may seem too simple, but when you repeat them every night, they become a message your body understands. It's okay to rest now. Another thing that steals sleep from so many older adults is the loss of structure in their day. When you stop working, stop raising kids, stop running around all the time, you lose the natural rhythm that used to guide your body. Back then, you were busy. You had a schedule. You woke up for a reason. You moved around. You talked to people. All of that kept your internal clock in balance. But after retirement, the days start blending together. Sometimes you nap when you don't mean to. Sometimes you stay up too late because there's nothing you have to wake up for. And before you know it, your sleep rhythm is completely backwards, and you're stuck wondering why you're awake at 2 a.m. staring at the ceiling. This is why finding a little structure again, even just a small one, can make such a difference. Nothing overwhelming. It could be something as simple as going outside at the same time every morning. Sunlight early in the day is like your body's natural reset button. It tells your brain, wake up now, which helps it later understand, okay, now it's time to sleep. Even gentle movement helps. A short walk, watering your garden, stretching your arms and legs, anything that tells your body it's daytime, that it has a purpose, that it's alive and still capable of following a rhythm. The more consistent your days feel, the easier your nights become. Something else that people rarely talk about is how much loneliness affects sleep. When you spend a lot of time alone, your thoughts get louder. You notice every noise at night. You feel more aware of the quiet, the darkness, the stillness. It can make your mind wander to places you don't want it to go. And when your heart feels heavy, your body becomes restless. This is something many people over 60 go through, but they often don't say it out loud. They just lie there thinking, why can't I sleep anymore, without realizing that what they really need isn't a pill or a stricter routine. Sometimes they just need connection. It doesn't have to be anything big. A short conversation with a friend, a hobby group, a grandchild who calls once a week, even saying hello to neighbors can soften that sense of isolation that takes over the mind at night. Human beings sleep better when they feel emotionally safe. When they feel connected. When they feel seen. And if that's something you've been missing, know that it's never too late to reach out, even in the smallest ways. You don't have to suddenly fill your calendar. You just have to remind yourself that your heart still needs warmth, just like your body needs rest. At the end of the day, the real reason most people can't fall asleep anymore isn't age. It's overload. Overthinking. Undermoving. Too much quiet. Too much worry. Too little routine. Or sometimes, simply forgetting how to signal your own mind that it's allowed to stop for the day. And once you start gently rebuilding those signals, your nights begin to feel softer, calmer, and more natural again. I hope you now feel a little more connected to what might be happening inside your own body. And more importantly, I hope you feel encouraged, because nothing about this is hopeless. You're not broken. You're not too old to fix it. Your body still knows how to rest. It just needs a little help remembering. And before we wrap up, let me say this, improving your sleep isn't about being perfect. It's about small, compassionate steps. It's about being kinder to yourself. It's about letting go of the pressure to fall asleep right now and instead focusing on creating the kind of life during the day that makes rest at night feel natural. You deserve peaceful nights. You deserve to wake up feeling refreshed. You deserve to feel at ease in your own body again. If any part of this message spoke to you, I'd love to hear your thoughts or your experiences in the comments. You never know who you might help simply by sharing what you've been going through. And if you found this video helpful, feel free to give it a like or subscribe for more content made especially for older adults who want to live healthier, calmer, happier lives. Here's to peaceful nights, gentle mornings, and the kind of rest you truly deserve at any age.